Hey guys, welcome to Wise Kracks. Bill Krackomberger here at my home studio. Jon Orlando over at the Durango, and Randy McKay wherever he is. I have no idea. It could be anywhere in the world. But anyway, yeah, guys, we were just talking off air, and I said, you know what? Hold on, save that thought. Let's bring us all on, all three of us, to talk about the Denver Cincinnati game. I was at the Wynn that day, guys. I was at the Wynn Sportsbook, and someone came in and bet a lot of money, like with like 10 minutes to go on the over, which they I was a casino player. Obviously, they let him bet a lot of money, so they went from 50 and a half to 52. They were at 52. I look at my screen and I see 50s on the screen. I said, well, this is just on GP. This has got to be an under bet. Went up to the counter, bet the under 52. Looked like clear sailing for them, and anyone that bet the underdog plus 3.5. There was 3.5 out there, and we know what happened here in the end. Randy, did you say that affected you, Randy? I forget. That was one of the picks you gave out, or
I didn't get that out on
okay.
on the air. John gave it out. I bet it as well at post. I took the 3.5 and had it in the contest. So yeah, that affected me quite heavily because we had a chance in the DraftKings contest, and that pretty
Yeah.
much that and the other overtime loss, the Washington Atlanta game,
I
two
lost
in a
both of those
row.
games. I lost both of those games. I had unders on both of those, under 48 in that game.
Ooh.
Went down to 46. Sometimes getting the best of the number doesn't always win. Wow, we talk about losers on this show. Who else
Yeah,
does that? Yeah, sometimes getting the best of it, the CLV closing line value doesn't get there. In the end, we're going to win. In the end, we're going to win. 55, 56, 58 of those games out of 100. But it just happens the ball didn't bounce that way in these particular games. John, did you had Denver in that game plus 3.5?
No, I had Denver money line.
Oh, okay.
I don't like the spreads, Bill. I like finding money line
That's
dogs.
right.
That's
That's right.
that's what I like. But I
Didn't they
still
hit the
think I deserve.
goalposts? Right?
Yes, they missed the field goal. This
Yeah.
game was so crazy in so many ways. First of all, when Denver tied it up with I don't remember what was left on the clock. I want to say 10 seconds or something. How do you not go for two and just go for the win?
Go for
Like,
two.
go for two. Like you're. Why would you want to give the ball back to the hottest quarterback in the league? You're on the road. What are you doing? I guess technically that move worked out because Cincinnati didn't score the next time they had the ball, but that's besides the point. You go for the win. Like you're. It was a miracle that they even tied it up. Like just go for it and steamroll your way into the playoffs. I'm disgusted with this because this should
Randy,
have been. We should be hearing you. You guys should be singing my praises right now for calling Denver money line.
John, I understand why you're upset. You bet the game, and I even though I was at the sports book, I don't know about the 2-point conversion in that situation. But Randy, what do you think? Are you supposed to go for it because you're on the road, and like John said, because of that hot quarterback with Burrow? Do you go for that win there? What do you think?
The only thing I can think of, and I've been recalling that all week, is that Sean Payton knew that he could get into the playoffs with a tie.
Ah,
So a tie can happen in overtime. That factored in, I think, to his decision. He's usually a very smart coach with his decisions. And I think had it not been for the tie to get him into the playoffs, he would have went for two.
I forgot that. I forgot that. I did hear that in overtime. The tie gets him in. So and with that shorter period and for a second there, you thought it was going to be a tie. So that's an interesting scenario. Here we have week 18, and Randy, this particular final week of the NFL, lots of movement on Sunday night going into this particular week. And I say a week ahead of time. Boy, some of those lines came out. There were some giant middles and scalps. If you had DraftKings here in Vegas, if you had Westgate, because I have to give the Westgate credit. I'll tell you right now, Westgate was the only book in Las Vegas with the lines up. I really cheers to them. They had the lines up on the games. They took shots and people were betting them, including me, betting the Westgate. And we had, like I said, DraftKings. We had Chris offshore. They were the only three, but there were some big differences and some giant movements there. Let me just look at my odds screen real quick, guys. It's just to tell you some of them that were moving. By the way, we didn't even know what the games were going to be held on Saturday, Sunday. That now it's been official. Now you're having Baltimore, Cleveland Saturday afternoon, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh Saturday night. But some of these games that are moving around, Buffalo, New England, literally there was a 3 or 4 point middle if you had both sports books. But you can't bet DraftKings here in Nevada. So unfortunately, that was one of the big ones. Green Bay, Chicago, one had 7.5, one had 10. Miami and the Jets, I seen that. That could have. There was so many games. Denver, Kansas City. The book here in Vegas had 7.5, 8 at 8 at Circa, 7 at Chris, and then DraftKings had an 11. So it's like, wow. I seen all this like live right in front of me on the screen. I'm looking now at some of the lines that were available and which ones I kind of charted a little bit. Seattle and the Rams was another one. As a matter of fact, a couple sports books I don't even understand. They kept that game up. Seattle Rams. They kept that game up during the Washington Atlanta game, and they had the Rams as a 1.5 point favorite. And literally, after the game was over, where the Rams were probably going to rest players, not need the game, Seattle was going to need the game because the Rams locked up the division. You could bet the plus 1.5 there for at least 5 minutes, and now it's up to 6.5. So you're talking an 8 point move that anyone who had different amount of sports books here in town, there was 2 of them that had, one had Pick'em, one had plus 1.5, BetMGM. And also Minnesota, Detroit was a big difference, a point or 1.5. Philadelphia and the Giants, there was a 4 at DraftKings. There was a 2.5 here in town. Some crazy line movement and crazy. I have to give the sports books credit for opening up and letting people come at them and take some shots, though. Randy, do you do anything week 18 early, either that Sunday night or Monday afternoon? This is also a good weekend for props this weekend. Not just because there's some incentives for some players, but also, how strong will these teams really play their stars? How long and strong do they play them? And so you may have some opportunity for some under on prop bets and some overs for incentives. There's a prop. Well, not that there's a prop, but there's the Seattle quarterback, Geno Smith. This is the biggest incentives I've ever seen in my life. Normally, it's 300,000, 500,000, maybe even $1 million if you get so many yards. Geno has $4 million in incentives this last week. So,
wow.
Yeah, $4 million on the line for Geno. Randy, what do you think about these? I haven't talked to you at all during the week. Any of these incentives and stuff. What do you think about these, or props, or even any games? Have you got involved early with anything?
I got involved a little bit early with some of that stuff. The intro I'll give on this is know the history of your coaches, because these games are like preseason games kind of. So you got to know what they're going to do if they're going to play starters. You also have to know the playoff scenarios, like Bill mentioned. Is this team going to play to get in the playoffs? Are they going to play to move up a seeding, or are they going to sit guys? You just never know. And so you do that. I did a little bit of maneuvering as far as that goes. Week 17, or of course it's last week, week 18, plays like preseason kind of because of that. We're going to see backup quarterbacks in there. Know your backup quarterback strengths. There's some pretty good backup quarterbacks playing.
So Randy, with that said, how do you feel about Denver this week?
We'll get to that game. I got 2 bets in that game, so you might not like what I have to say.
Oh,
in that
no.
game,
Come on.
Well,
but
they
might still win.
That line is here at 11 in Las Vegas, and I'll tell you, I'll take any backup quarterback. I don't care who's playing. I don't care who's not playing. I'm not double digits. I would never lay that with any team. I don't care how much they are a must win. I will take the backups, which, by the way, some of the backups on KC maybe just be able to start on many of the teams in the NFL. Definitely the Jets, that's for sure. Yeah.
There's a few teams.
Yeah. Hey, guys, before we get into anything else, I want to say how terrible things are going on across the country here today. Randy and I have been down to New Orleans many a times. I've been to the Harrah's there, and I've been to. Hey, Randy, what's that little casino? It's like it was on a dock. They had some great bonuses there, though. My God, Boomtown. Was it Boomtown?
Boomtown.
Oh my God, they had some great bonuses and stuff there. But that's not what we're talking about. We're just talking about New Orleans in general and our, God, I tell you, it's really emotional when innocent people, especially kids and families, are torn apart like this. Traveling for, good festive memory times, and these sickos, these absolute sickos, that are just so misplaced in their own lives and believing in these different values that they think they have. And it's so bad. And even here in Vegas, the Cybertruck, it's funny, I was at the Wynn this morning, and everything is blocked off there. I didn't get it. I didn't know what was going on. And sure enough, now I see the videos out there. And that, without them telling you, it looks like it's a Cybertruck in front of the Trump building. I don't know. There's wackadoos just doing everything. And the amazing thing is they blew up the Cybertruck. That's like one of the vehicles that's made to withstand a lot of things. You would
like
think that it's like a tank. So the only person that I know of that died was the driver who detonated the bomb, supposedly. And there is people injured, 7 people at least injured, 15 deaths down in New Orleans. So our hearts go out to, about that. And
I heard that's 30 now.
Oh, really? Oh,
I think so.
Yeah, so bad.
Terrible,
so bad.
Terrible way to start the year, man. Just ruin the lives of so many people.
I've had some late nights kind of in that general vicinity, so I know a lot about that place there.
It was on Bourbon Street, actually on Bourbon Street.
It was just off of Bourbon Street, I think, on Canal, maybe.
Canal, that's it.
The exact location.
I've been there.
I've had many a good times. I've been to that. There's actually a John Lafitte's. It's an old bar, the oldest one of the oldest ones in North America that I go to. It's an old, I forget what it's called, but it's John Lafitte's bar where the old pirate used to go. So you ever go there? That's a great place to go.
I really don't. I'm not a drinker, so I don't go to bars. However, I was down there. Fox sent us down there last year to cover a game, and I was down there for a lot of different promotions, and I was in New Orleans a couple different times. John, have you ever been down in New Orleans?
Yeah. I performed down there with my dad a handful of times. And I remember, going to Harrah's back in the day when you had to step over onto like the boat. The boat didn't move though, but you were stepping over onto like, I guess, a docked boat or whatever the way the casino was back then, right?
Yeah.
But you're saying it's not like that anymore, right?
No, they put one on. It's on the land now. There's very good restaurants. There's a Ruth Chris there. There's my favorite is a fish place that right next to Manning's called the Grand Isle. It's very good.
You still go down there, Randy?
I was there 2 years ago for the Final Four, and hopefully I'll be there February 9th if the Skull Vikings can keep this up.
All right.
I'll make a little trip back.
Oh, nice. I just got a text, guys, from I have a very good friend who's a detective, and it said Biden speaking now, possibly connecting the NOLA and Vegas incident. Biden saying both NOLA and this incident, they are related. The Las Vegas police chief not saying much other than an isolated incident, not leaking any names. Don't be surprised if this doesn't ramp up. It's interesting that my friend who's a detective is very, very strong. Has some very strong thoughts about this. Just like we do. We've had a lot of things happen in this country these last few years, and it's just it's a shame. It's really a shame. Listen, it's been going on forever. Not only the last few years. I'm not going to say that and try to sound political because I'm not trying to make it sound like that. This has happened a lot of times, no matter who's in office here. So
sure.
But I'm just hoping that we can really control this border and control it, because there's a lot of terrorists in this country right now. There's lots. It is what it is. And unfortunately, these kind of things happen and they make you worry about your own families when they go away, or should you go, should you not go, and it's very sad. And I really pray for the people's families that are affected by this tragedy. And the other ones, just like the one over in Germany, was around Christmas time. That there was, there's a couple of things internationally that also the same thing. So we don't want to put a sour note or a dour on this particular show, but it was just something I felt I had to talk about because we're here in Vegas, and I just seen the barricades and seen the things up this morning. And anyway, what else is going on? You have anything else to say here about these games, or should we wait? We get right into them now. You want to?
I think we get into it because I'm on pins and needles over here, wanting to know what Randy thinks is going to happen to my Broncos.
Randy, I'm going to pull my lines up right now on the screen. Why don't we get into your games this week first, so I can put a tweet out with them all, and then we'll have some explanations behind them. I'm going to give the current lines too here. So go ahead.
First game, Cincinnati against the Steelers are on Saturday.
Yep. All right. Cincinnati, you can definitely go -1, or no, it's up to 1.5. Win has -1, 1.5 everywhere else. Okay, next game.
Kansas City and the under.
Nice. Kansas City +11 at South Point, +10.5 everywhere else in town, except for Circa. They have a 10. All right. And the under is 39. What else you got?
Yeah, there's some 40. I saw some 40s at a couple places too, but hopefully we can get a little better on that.
Let's see. Okay.
And then the last one, Minnesota +3, or can use them in a teaser.
Ditto. I'm with you on Minnesota +3. Widely available here in Vegas. South Point, Win, Westgate +3, -08. So we have plenty of places here that you could take the 3. Heritage is +3. MGM +3, -15. So there's threes everywhere. And the teaser, you'd play that, but you'd only play it if it's 2.5 going to. Is that what you're saying? Going up to like 8.5?
If you got a book that doesn't give you the 3 reduce, you can play a 2.5 with. There's a couple options out there. New England up to 8.5, just because the Bills are. McDermott plays this pretty well. He only plays his guys probably a little bit just to get them some work, probably a quarter, maybe a whole half. And you can always tease Atlanta down against a banged up Carolina team down to 2.5 there.
I like Atlanta more than New England in that one. But however, I do understand. New England just played this Buffalo team really tough in Buffalo. They were up 14-0. They were getting 14 points and almost won the game. Wind up covering the game, but they did lose. So, okay, cool. Now let's go on to the beginning. Let's go into the Cincinnati game because one of my main guys agrees with you here. So we have a double agreement here. We're on Cincinnati together and we're on Minnesota together. So why are you on Cincinnati? What do you like about them? They both need the game, right?
Yeah, they lost week 12 to the Steelers 44-38. But if you remember, they didn't have T. Higgins, who had 3 touchdowns there against John's Denver Broncos team. Couldn't cover him, especially for some reason they didn't kick the field goal too at the end, and they threw to him for the game-winning touchdown, which was really frustrating. This game kind of handicaps out like an NBA game. So if Cleveland and Baltimore plays earlier, and Baltimore's a 17-point favorite. If they win here, there's a possibility Tomlin might rest starters as well. So that'll work into the handicap, and of course we had this in the earlier matchup, kind of the same handicap. Can Pittsburgh's offense keep up with this Bengal team that can score? Bengals defense improving a little bit here at the end of the year, getting more turnovers. And the Pittsburgh Steelers have kind of been going downhill. So, we're seeing that as well. And like I said, a situational bet, kind of like an NBA, when a starter might be questionable, you might want to take the side with the guy he might be sitting out.
Okay. And, I didn't realize that okay, so let me see how big of a favorite they're 17.5, 18. Yeah, so they're a giant favorite that day. So you're saying if Baltimore wins, there's a chance Pittsburgh will Tomlin will put some people on the bench that normally would play if they needed the game more. Is that correct? And Baltimore's supposed to win.
Yeah, and keep in mind too, Watt their best defensive player, Watt, and
JJ Watt.
their wide receiver there, that young kid. They've been both kind of banged up, so they might not play if
I think Chase. I think
Baltimore.
Chase is also having a problem though. They said he might not play. So
Yeah, always keep the injury report.
yeah, keep
I
and
didn't
that's
see
so important. That's so important to have the injury report without a doubt. You need that. So it's tough here. We're recording on Tuesday or Wednesday. It's very tough. You want to know if Pickens is in. Pickens is the receiver
Yeah.
on the Steelers. You want to know if they're 100%. You want to know if Chase is 100%. But okay, let's get into your next game. We can go into any one of them. You want to go into the New England one, or?
Well,
No, that was part of the teaser. That was part of the teaser. Let's go into our matches. Minnesota +3.
okay, we'll do Minnesota then. The Rodney Dangerfields, of course, we called them last week. Not getting any respect again this week. Lions played everybody in a game that they probably didn't need to last week. They gave full effort. This is a similar matchup. Week 6, they lost to the Lions 31-29, lost the lead late when they were ahead. Coach O'Connell kind of made maybe a little bit of situational mistake. He probably should have went for it, 4th and 2, rather than punt the ball to the explosive Lions. And then the Lions came down, kicked that game-winning field goal. Then you saw on Monday Night Football that defense for the Lions is so beat up.
They're bad.
Cannot stop teams unless they turn them over. They're getting a better offense here. This Viking offense has been clicking. So this game's going to come down to turnovers. The Vikings have been good all year about winning the turnover battle. So getting a plus points and getting no respect here, because the Packers 4 weeks ago were getting basically the same line here, and Minnesota's beat them twice. Better team here, getting the same line as the Packers were, a game we won, I think we took 3.5. So this game could come down to that late field goal as well. So big exciting one for all the marbles. The team that wins gets a home seed. The other team gets a 5. So imagine that 14-win team gets a 5 seed.
That's amazing. All right, so I saved this one for last because you kind of surprised me a little bit with the Kansas City side, a team that doesn't need to play anybody. But I'm on the same side as you for a smaller bet, but I am on the same side as you with Kansas City. Minnesota and Cincinnati is a little bit stronger in my eyes. So, well, tell me why Kansas City plus the points. And it's 11 here in town.
Yeah, Week 9 rematch of the game where John's Broncos should have probably won, but then a late field goal got blocked. Kansas City style of winning games this year late in the game. They've been very, it's like a soap opera every week. They find a different way to win. But, and of course, this, like you said, this line opened 7. And I think it's too much of a move, even though there's not going to be any Mahomes, any Kelsey, or any defense on the other side, Chris Jones, which is a big factor if he doesn't play. But these reserves are decent for Kansas City, and we're going to see North Dakota great Carson Wentz take the snaps here, a veteran quarterback. He knows what he's doing. He's been pretty good in practice. I've been hearing, and he's been there long enough to know Reed's system. They should be able to hang in there against Denver's defense. This is still a division rival game. So you're going to see, and the weather here isn't that great. Could be windy. It's very windy today. If they played today, it would really be good for the under, but supposed to maybe even be pretty high winds on Sunday. But the weather report could be pretty tough here in Denver. I know a few people going to the game, so bundle up. It's going to be a cold one.
Are you? How far are you from the stadium there, Randy? You're within an hour.
Yeah, hour drive down the hill and right there, and it's a very nice place to go watch a game, and very entertaining, and I've had a good time there.
And you also lean to the under in this game too, correct?
Yep. You can't bet a parlay with that. It's too much of a correlation, but unless a book lets you, but I doubt it. But
So what
yeah,
Randy's saying
two
is
separate side
underdog,
bets.
yeah, underdog and under. Same thing with favorite and over. Some of the books don't let you parlay, especially in college, especially the college first test. They won't let you parlay. But believe it or not, I think you will be able to find a book or two. Maybe that'll allow you. And it is correlated, like Randy said. Well, cool. All right, we got your selections in there. That was the three of them, right?
Yeah, and also don't forget the Monday night before we get done talking about this. The college football for the FCS. We got bets
Yes.
on Dakota State, and that's on next Monday night instead of Monday Night Football. This is a showcase game against Montana State. So
Plus 3.5.
yep, there were some fours too today. So
Yeah, I seen some fours. I went down to
betting
3.
Montana.
And someone pushed it up to 4, and I don't see no 4s now, but I see 3.5s everywhere. So North Dakota State plus 3.5. That's your final pick there. We have Ohio State today, which is really blowing away Oregon right now. Anyway, I think it was 34-8 at halftime. 34-15. So we're filming it right now. We're filming during the game. So. I had a couple random notes on my phone about the game of craps. Walking into a casino and just seeing the crap dealers, the way their arms are folded and they have a frown on their face, and the games that are closed. It's such an intimidating game to begin with, and then the dealers who are burnt out antiques. I'm not saying all of them. You know who you are. That they're just. It could be so intimidating. You'd think it would be more warm and inviting. It's a dying game. Craps is a dying. Table games are dying games.
Yeah.
They're pushing people to electronic and electric games with terrible rules, by the way. But
Bill,
I just
Bill, I used to be a craps dealer for like 3 years.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we used to call them old guys that are crabby lumps. That was a
Lumps.
nickname. Yeah, because they're taken away from your tip pool. Nobody's going to tip them type people.
It doesn't matter either because they pool tips.
No.
So if they had to survive on tips that they get to keep, like over at Stratosphere does, there's a couple casinos in town that keep their own tips, but they're more incentivized to make you a tip because they put it right in their pocket, and like a poker dealer, but they do it at the crap table. But these crap tables, they and some of these casinos depend on their female, like they had the little party pits and stuff. But some of those party pits, I know down at the Golden Nugget, they were keeping their own tips too in the party pit. So
Don, do you ever play table games?
What do you think?
With blackjack here and there. I like playing craps, but I never do. Like if I'm with a bunch of people, like a birthday party or something, jump on the craps. Clearly, I'm an action junkie through and through. So if I'm at the craps table, I've got all the hard ways covered and high-low for $100. Can't help myself. But
John, people in the chat think I give you too hard of a time. So I'm gonna try to have a New Year's resolution.
No.
Try to be.
I want the smoke. Absolutely not. I want all the smoke.
Now, we did not rehearse this at all.
We didn't.
We didn't talk about this. Thank you. Thank you for letting me give you a little abuse.
And, yes.
I think it helps you along the way too.
Yeah.
I was with John. I would say I was with you, and when I was with you, we could say it. We were playing with Dana White there. And at the table, there was such great. Randy, just picture this: the situations that we have with Dana White at the table, who's allowed to do anything, and Jon Orlando playing third base. I really don't want to give away too much more, and hope the casinos don't.
But you want me on third base at the blackjack table?
Yeah,
I play perfect blackjack.
I want you there because of situations at the table with Dana, where they let you do. You could spread from. $50. By the way,
he's betting
Randy,
30,000. I'm betting 100.
Randy, he could bet 50 if you're 100, whatever, and he can spread, 25 to 1 if you want. You can spread a lot.
$1,000 bet just all of a sudden.
Yes. But the only problem is, even in this situation, Randy, what do you think John's doing? He's playing The
Pair the
$25.
square. Pair the square. The best bet in the casino. What is wrong with you guys? Oh my God!
And
Hey,
he
while
hit
we're
it.
talking,
He hit it that time.
yeah, I hit it.
Yeah,
Suited.
last time.
While we're
Suited.
talking about degenerate type stuff, I want to talk horse racing real quick. Producer Rob, I sent you some stuff on WhatsApp. I don't know if you can put it into
I see
this.
I see
Can
it.
you put it up? So I'm in the sports book a few days ago, and I'm looking at as the horses come on the track, and a horse named Tony O comes on to the track at 3-1, and it was the number 11 horse. I tell everybody I'm with, I'm like, if you guys don't come with me to the counter right now and bet on Tony O, what are we doing? Like, how much more do you need the world to speak to you? So I went and I threw 100 down on Tony O, and we 100% hit the winner's circle.
Paid
Tony O
$11 bucks.
came across the finish line. Yeah. You like that?
Turfway Park.
Who needs the handicap when you can just go off names and numbers, right?
Numbers. Yeah.
Come on.
Oh, good.
That's kind of how I used to bet the dogs, John. And if I saw a dog doing his duty on the racetrack, that was a dog bet.
Doing his duty. Hey, do you guys know there used to be the old New York way? I seen it the other day. I forgot about it. The bet. You used to have when you used to play back in the 70s. Again, a little bit maybe before. You guys are like my age. Literally, the newspapers like the New York Daily News and the Post and the bookmakers in New York, the local books, used to have over 46, under 48. So if if you want to go, they can go. If you're going to go over, they can actually middle. If the game lands 47, they win both ways. I'm reading it the wrong way. Over 48 if you're going to play the over. If you're going to play the under, it's 46. John or Randy, have you ever seen that? You remember that from the New York days back in the days? Or no?
I 100% remember that.
Randy?
Yeah, we didn't have that in the Midwest, but I like the first way you explained it. I would have
yeah.
That would have been great to have that way.
They used to have even the newspaper, and you used to call the bookmaker and say, "Hey, what do you mean the Jets are +8 in the New York Daily News? You're telling me it's 7." He goes, and what was his response? Bet with the paper. That's what he used to say. Because they knew which way. They knew which way.
Yeah.
I seen an old clip of the over 48, under 46, and I was like, wow, I totally forgot. I want to know this. You guys, have you been in this town and realized how good of hamburgers we have here? We have some burger joints in this town. I love a good burger. And, I was over at Joe's at the Forum Shops, great burger. Peter Luber's, great burger. But there's some local joints, mom and pop places. There's a Hard Hat Lounge over on Industrial, which is right in back of the Stratosphere area there. Yeah. Just watch your head on a swivel there, but it's okay. There's a lounge there with great. They make these. There's a popular thing now called the Smash Burger. So they make the Smash Burger there with so good. There's a place inside the Fountain Blue called Capone's, Capons. That's the chef's name. He makes a great burger there. We have local butchers here called Featherblade and Butcher Block. I've been to both. Butcher Block they're actual butchers that sell meat, but they'll also make you a burger. There's a couple tables on the side. Distill is a tavern around town. There's a whole bunch of places called Distill.
I was at Distill is great.
I was at the one behind the South Point on Decatur. The burger was great there. I was surprised.
I always went to the one at the Mirage.
Wow. Okay. Distill's a really good burger. There's a place called With Love Always. It's a smash burger up in Centennial. Can't get in right now. That's how packed it is. Lines out the door. But eventually I'll get there. Everyone tells me how good that is. I didn't know if you guys like a good burger. And I know we're talking about that now in the winter. But in the summertime, a burger on a grill is my answer to anything.
Last night, I didn't really do much for New Year's. We came here to Durango because it's close to the house, and we went into Nico's Steakhouse here at Durango. We just sat at the bar. We just sat at the bar and just hung out with some friends. But one of my buddies, my buddy Jason, he ordered fries from Nico's. It's the best fries I've ever had. And he says the burger, it's a $50 burger, but he says it's unbelievable. So
Wow.
I think we should go there.
Yeah.
I invite you, Bill, because I need you to pay. So
Yeah, no problem.
you know,
I got it.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. I have one question gambling related for you guys. How much more money do you think the casino makes this last few days of the year, like we just had, coming up, like say between Christmas and New Year's, for people trying to maintain their status, their player card status? Do you think that's a thing?
Very interesting. Well, it depends if you're in the casino or not. No, but yes, to be real honest with you, that's a very good question. And people do that. People try to get, the only thing is, a lot of times it goes till the 31st of December, but some, I think it's, Randy will answer this better. Does Caesars go till the end of January? I know my card expires in January. I'm no longer going to be a 7-star over at Caesars because they throw out people that win in the sports book. They don't like winners, just like stations and everything. They don't like winners in the sports book. So my card is no longer going to be 7-star. But people do try to maintain their status and get points. And the accumulative, it's funny. Atlantic City has tons of these days where they give you 5-time points, 10-time points. They don't really do that in Vegas too much. Very rare they'll do that in Vegas. They did it once this whole year, where Atlantic City does it like once a month. So what do you think, Randy? What's your opinion on that, on people playing? And am I right about the Caesars? Do you have until the end of January?
Yeah, that's correct. You have till the end of January, and then you start over. I was playing one myself. They had a point thing here, and I got a little multiplier. They still have multipliers here in Blackhawk. So I was doing that this week. I put in a big play, 200,000 coin through at a casino, which is a pretty healthy play. Got smashed a little bit along with the football game. So
yeah,
need a little help here to start the 2025.
200,000 coin
pretty
through.
Good.
Sounds like a lot more than people think, though. I myself have a promotion where I get $1,000 a week free play. I put 100,000 for every week. Takes a couple hours. I'm playing a big machine. I'm playing a machine 125 a hand. But yeah, a 200,000. It's a good play. And let me ask you that, Randy. So, are you maintaining your 7-star status?
Yeah, I'll be able to maintain mine. There's different Caesars properties you can go to. You don't have to do it in Vegas. There's better options. Go up to Reno or come here to Blackhawk. They have better games. They'll still
better games.
Still throw you the promotions. They'll still give you some multiplier. And as far as the sports book goes, I only bet Caesars when I'm in Nevada. For some reason, my account doesn't work in other states, but it works fine in Nevada, which is weird. So that's what I do. So they still give me a little bit of the bonuses and
the 7-star. The 7-star lounges back east at Harrah's in Atlantic City, Caesars, and Tropicana. The one at Harrah's is unbelievable. You order off a menu, sit down. It's fantastic food, and all you want. If you want to order 3 entrees, order 3 entrees. You want to order premium top shelf liquor, order top. It's really, if I was back east, I would somehow find a way to maintain my 7-star status. Here, I don't even think they give you pretzels anymore in the Diamond Lounge. They give you nothing. No, it's really bad how it went downhill, though. So to answer your question, John, there it is. A couple of them, people are probably playing a lot more to maintain status and maintain. But the casinos are crying a little bit that they're down off their numbers too. And I'm not going to be out there with a no collection bucket for these casinos. They have smashed records. What are you saying?
You might have to for the sports book this last week with the 15 or only one underdog covered or one outright.
Oh,
so you might have to get the bucket out for the sports book guys this week.
Someone sent me that. I'd love to find it. Someone sent me a picture of, might have been, no, it wasn't you. I thought it was, maybe, was that you, Randy, that sent me the I think it was Action. Was that you that sent me that?
Yes.
That clip? Oh, it was you? Okay, hold on. Oh, there it is. There it is. So Randy sends me this. 61-16. NFL favorites since week 13 are 61-16 outright. And yes, that may have hurt the sports books on money line parlays and stuff. They have destroyed people the first 5 weeks of the season. If anyone had any money left, I don't know if they can even afford to lose it. That's how bad the sports books crush people the first 5 weeks. I'm not going to be listen, you should make money off of both sides if you're a good bookmaker. Now, granted, I know, like a Detroit Lion game the other night, everyone, they couldn't get any money on San Fran. And to be blunt, I thought San Fran was going to cover that game. They came out the first half, but the second half they just quit. That's all I could tell you. And Detroit, I mean, you know, their coach is an absolute maniac. The Lions coach, he's nuts. He just wants to go for it on every play and put his team in jeopardy of getting hurt. And hey, maybe more power to him if that's going to get him to the promised land in the Super Bowl. But it's also cost him that opportunity, you know, a few different times. So sports books got hurt for sure on Monday night. Overall, they're doing well because here's why. Even if it's 61-16, people find ways to lose because they parlay, Jon Orlando. They parlay these teams. So the sports books make 80% of their money on parlays. So they even though they did that good, there's going to be no and like I'm going to go back to the slots and the table games. They have smashed records. But during COVID, you guys had to be sitting in your houses, your apartments, and saying the world's coming to an end. The casinos are done. I was overlooking, you know, I'm up on the 31st floor, overlooking from my apartment the entire city, and saying to myself, "Look at this place. It's a blackout. There's no cars on the strip. The casinos are dark. This will never." Not that I'm a doomsday sayer, but I was just thinking this is never going to go back to what it was with this. With COVID and whatever is going on in the country here. And, you know, they have bounced back in a giant way. People were just sitting home with those four walls crushed in on them. They were saying, I will never, if we get over this, I am spending everything. I'm enjoying my life. Well, now we're seeing that those last 4 years, 5 years, people are just spending everything. Credit card debt's on an all-time high, I seen yesterday. All-time high. So, people are over
room rates are insane.
Insane. People just buying hotel rooms, non-gaming revenue at an all-time high. So I'm not going to go by them losing some players in the casino. I'll go back to the beginning of this when I said with these guys with the, you know, the scowls on their face, and you know they've been stealing paychecks for years with the other poor dealers having to, you know, pick up for them. So. I also want let's give our sponsors our sponsor a shout out here, heritagesports.eu. It's on there on our screen here. heritagesports.eu has been around 30 years. Reduced juice, 108 juice on their sports. They also have some cashback incentives. They have a Bitcoin insurance, which I'm not smart enough to use Bitcoin. How many times in my life have I had Bitcoin and I gave it away or you know, used it for something else and just so stupid. But anyway, they have these particular things, and you can go right to heritagesports.eu. The explanations are there. Even to get out of your bet halftime, they pick a game that you can get out of your bet by the half. If you don't like your bet, you can just cancel the bet and get your money back. So heritagesports.eu, been around a long time. And well, guys, Happy New Year to you guys. I hope things go well for us, and hope things get better for the country as a whole. Appreciate Randy coming on every week. And I always put out a tweet for you. Thank you, Randy. Thank you, John. Happy New Year to you, buddy.
Man, you too.